Good morning, and welcome back to the Brandon Macy Show. We're so happy to have you guys here. Listen, we got a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to talk about today, including Tyreek Hill getting sued by model influencer, all the way down to a NASCAR driver urinates on himself, which is pretty interesting. We'll go into that, but we have a lot to do. I hope you guys are having a great start to your Wednesday. It's hump day. I hope all of you can get started and move quickly, because I cannot wait until Friday, because this weekend's going to be a blast. But before we go into all that, we got to talk about Tyreek Hill. Listen, getting sued by a model influencer. Very, very interesting. And it's going to be something to talk about today, because she's saying that he broke her leg. Now, Howard, you can pull a little piece up there. You guys can read a little snippet for you and get a quick understanding of what happened. He's facing a lawsuit. If you can't read it up there on the screen, I can read it to you. Facing a lawsuit because a woman claims they were doing a blocking drill at his house. Now, the woman that he was doing a blocking drill with, let me just give you an idea and understanding of who this person is. Now, they were doing a blocking drill in his backyard, and she's not, let's just say this, she's bigger than Tyreek Hill. So she is 6'1", 250, right? So people would say, well, she's not small, right? Tyreek Hill, being like 5'10", 5'11", 190 pounds, soaking wet with his boots on, cannot block this woman. Apparently, he's getting embarrassed in his backyard, and he goes, no, let's switch this thing up. Let's switch this thing up. We got to do it the right way. And he wants to get started and say, no, I'm going to use my force. I'm going to do what I got to do. And she claims that the first time they did this again, it was like a puppy got in the way and messed it up. And then people were laughing, including his trainer, and people watching were like, oh, man, she's like stronger than you. So got a little bit more aggressive. And then apparently she's claiming that he broke her leg, right? And I got the little clip here to read the snippet, but it says, on her defensive line for the first rep, Hall alleged that she managed to push Hill backward. Her last name is Hall. Pushed him backwards, okay, drawing laughter from the group of witnesses, including Hill's trainer. Now, the mother and his sister, and said, look, she's 6'1", 250, while Hill is just 5'10", 191 pounds. She claims that Hill became embarrassed, right? He became embarrassed, and it says angry, and that he insisted they do the drill in opposite positions to do something a little bit different, right? The second rep was apparently abrupted by a puppy, and a third rep saw Hall hold her own, right? But on the fourth rep, he allegedly charged into her violently with great force, leaving her with excruciating pain. Some of this stuff gets really interesting to me. I mean, I'm literally looking at this going, now she comes out of the woodwork and says, I'm going to sue you for breaking my leg. I don't know what you guys think about this, because, listen, these kind of things happen, but this kind of stuff is just next level, right? Like, you're literally doing a blocking drill with a Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame receiver, one of the best talents in the NFL, and then he forcefully gets angry and starts moving because you're actually blocking him. Like, you're putting up effort against him, and then your leg gets broken. Very interesting. I don't know what I would do in that position. It's like, this is a friendship kind of thing. But now the lawsuit pops in, right? Being sued. Tyreek Hill doesn't need any more things going on. Obviously, Dolphins didn't do that good in the playoffs, and his house was on fire, and now he's getting sued by this. He's got a lot of kids, different mothers. He's got a lot going on, a lot on his plate. Excellent guy, excellent receiver, star talent, but he's got a lot on his plate, and now being sued by a model influencer does not help any way, shape, or form heading into next season. Let's move forward. JJ McCarthy. How does he compare in the NFL draft? How does he compare to the other quarterbacks? There's obviously people like Michael Penix. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks heading in this draft that are pretty talented, but what I want to talk about is one of the major things. How does JJ McCarthy compare? And the reason why I like JJ McCarthy going into the draft, he played well at Michigan, obviously won a national championship. They played great. They beat Washington. There's a lot of other good quarterbacks, but where the difference comes in for me and with quarterbacks heading into the National Football League is, who is your coach? Who was around you during those phases? Who was around you during your wins? Who was around you during your losses? And I think having someone like this and more of an NFL style coach, someone who coached in the NFL before, now he's back in the NFL again with the Chargers. And it's like, this is why JJ McCarthy is going to have a lot of success. And a lot of coaches in the NFL should start looking at it going, who was his coach in college? Who was he around? And Jim Harbaugh said, look, this is one of the best quarterbacks ever to play at Michigan. Remember who played at Michigan? Tom Brady. So apparently Jim Harbaugh was super high on J.J. McCarthy. Showed a lot of poise, played well, especially in the national championship game, passed the ball well, ran the ball for first downs, showed a lot of grit. And if you want to say, the experiences, being able to sit back in the pocket and have composure, right, during 70, 80,000 people, a big crowd. I think it's really important that people like J.J. McCarthy are noticed. Now, I'm not saying there's not other great talents. I'm not saying he doesn't have a lot of competition. I'm just saying you got to look at the overall person. How does he handle himself? Not just the composure, but on and off the field. J.J. McCarthy is someone that the NFL teams, organizations should be very, very heavily on because he's got everything around him, the building blocks, the experience level, and I think the morale from where he comes from is going to be exceptional heading into the draft. And people are like, well, I like Michael Penix. Well, I like this guy. I like Drake May. There's all these people they keep naming, right? Caleb Williams, the number one talent that people keep talking about. Yeah, he's exceptional. He's a great player. Caleb Williams is one of those guys where you can't fall short. You can't say he's not the quote-unquote best guy in the draft. But if it's not J.J. McCarthy, he's a close second. And I think that it all comes down to your coaching staff, how you played in college, but who you were surrounded by, your experience. When you wake up, the way they did NFL, game tape and how they do college game tape, right? Waking up, having your prerequisites, things you got to do, getting to the conference rooms on time, being in those quarterback meetings, being with your offensive coordinators, being with your quarterback coach, whatever you got, being there, getting those playbook installs lined up. It's really important that someone like J.J. McCarthy brings that level of excitement, morale, and more importantly, the competitive nature behind having his teammates as he moves into the NFL draft. I just think that he's a great quarterback. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when they actually see how high J.J. McCarthy goes. Let's move forward here with Russell Wilson. This is important to me and interesting because, as you know, Russell Wilson was benched. This is very confusing to me, still is. But he was benched by the Broncos during the season, and they wanted to restructure his contract, which we talked about in this program several times. But it's like Russell Wilson still wants to win a Super Bowl in Denver. I'm just so confused. I am so confused by this. I believe there's a picture behind here, Howard. You pull it up for me. I believe there's one with his coach. This is the problem, right? Like Russell Wilson still wants to win a Super Bowl with the Broncos, but they benched him and wanted to restructure his contract. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a stepchild here, right? Not trying to say it in a negative way, but this is like the stepchild relationship. Like you're there, you're the guy, and it's like, you know what? Move on. You're not the guy anymore. And we're going to put somebody else in. You're like, whoa, hold on a second. I just started playing well. We just started getting the team moving. And it's like, we're going to bench you. So the reason why this is important to conversation and topic for today is because Russell Wilson still is saying, I want to win a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Most of the world's like, you're on your way out. You're still looking for a new team. And people are like, the Steelers were high on it, right? There's other teams, other programs, other organizations that need a quarterback. And they need someone like Russell Wilson with experience. A veteran, a guy that's been in the biggest games, the lowest games. He can read defenses, right? He's a morale. He's a team leader. He's a captain. And I think he could be an NFL MVP in the right program. I mean, he's good. He's talented. But the problem is the Denver Broncos benched him. When you bench your quarterback, your team morale goes down big time unless you pop in that new quarterback. Because he was benched, the whole team's like, okay, you just benched our quarterback who was a star. Now we're not sure what's going on. Who do they build behind? And he comes up and he goes, and everyone's going to go, oh, he's going to be so pissed off. He's going to be so mad. But instead of him going, I went out of here, he goes, I still want to win a Super Bowl with Denver Broncos. I mean, it's either he loves being in Denver, right? He loves his coach, or he loves something that people aren't talking about, because when that happens and they leave you in the dust and you get benched and you're sitting back going, okay, they don't even want me in the game. And quote unquote, you're saying, I just want to win a Super Bowl in Denver. It's just very, very confusing to me. But he's done a great job. I think when he first got there, it wasn't so hot, but he started playing well. And then all of a sudden, Denver Broncos bench him and go, you're not our guy. So I think it's time for Russell to keep looking on, keep moving on in his future and going, because I don't think anybody in that team right now, organization, really is believing in him as their quote unquote leader into next season. Now, we have something that is interesting, and I got to tell you, if read the lower third here down below and see what it says. NASCAR driver urinates in race uniform. Now, I heard a lot of things in my life, right? A lot of things in my life, especially when you're a kid. If you pee in your pants, it's fine. right? You get past it, you move on. But after, kindergarten or maybe before that, pre-K4 level, pee in the bed, pee in the pants is a problem. But NASCAR driver urinates in his uniform. Why did he do that, right? Like, why? So I pulled up the little clip here in conversation. Denny Hamlin admits to urinating in his race suit for the first time in his career. Now, the only reason why anybody would, quote unquote, pee yourself, piss yourself, urinate on yourself would be ultimately because you have several laps to go. You can't stop the race. You got to keep going. You're competitive. We're not stopping this race to pee. We got no time for that. So you pull into, everybody knows you pull into the pit crew. Your tires are exchanged in seconds. Well, like 2 or 3 seconds. And tires off, tires back on, right? So you don't have time for that. You got a long race going on. So what does he do? Just urinates in his race uniform. Now that's competitive nature. That's a guy who believes in his career, right? So Denny Hamlin admits this, and I will tell you this. If you watch racing, and I got to tell you, racing is great. I didn't grow up watching racing my whole life. I didn't grow up watching all the pit crews my whole life. F1, I'm down here in Miami, so that's going on. It's great. A lot of great experiences there. But I will tell you this, the excitement is something, but urinating in your uniform is definitely next level. But anyway, hats off to him. Was racing great. Just wanted to bring that to your attention today, that how interesting that can be in competitive nature in sports. He just had to pee on himself. That was just part of his day. But moving on to Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Now, this is the first time they're going to face off, and people are like, what's this fight about? They both come off from losses. Ryan Garcia was beat by Tank due to like an abdomen, got shot there and was down for the count. And then Devin Haney coming up a loss as well. They're going to face off, and they had their little stare down. First time getting together, and I got it here, I believe. This is what's interesting to me, right? Young guys get in there. The hype is real. The energy is real. I don't know what you guys think. If you watch fighting, watch boxing, if you do, put in there who you think's going to win the fight. I'm excited for this because when I'm watching young talent come up and people chasing, different ventures, boxing is one of those sports, right, where you don't have 10 other people on the field. I played football. It was great. I enjoyed it. I had 10 other guys on the field when I played baseball. There's 9 on the field, so I had 8 other people around me. When I got to wrestling, it was mano a mano. It was me versus you, and so you got to man up, and no one's going to help you. No one's going to come in. No one's going to help you win the bout. No one's going to help you throw a punch. So that is why boxing, ultimately, I think the pay-per-views, the expense, the hype, the buildup, right? The buildup of these fights, they're going months and months and months of training, preparing for this, like UFC fights too. And you got 2 people you're watching, right? Just 2 people. It isn't basketball where there's 5. It's just 2 people. And that's why the morale and the hype is real. And the stare down, this is going to be something big. And just, I got to tell you, listening to the words and the things they say, it's very interesting, right? Like, you get up there and the only thing you can think of is all the low blows in your head, right? Like, you're not shit. You ain't shit. I beat this guy. You suck. I saw you get punched. You got no skills. You got no talent. It just goes on, and builds the hype. It builds the energy. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think a lot of people right now, it's kind of like a toss-up. When it was Tank versus Ryan Garcia, a lot of people were like, Tank's going to win. And Garcia did start having some people rooting for him. But right now, I think these 2 fighters are a little bit more evenly matched compared to the last fight, but we'll see what happens. If you watch this fight or don't, comment who you think could win that fight. Well, let's move on to our quote of the day to end our segment today for Hump Day, so you guys can get through the energy for this morning. A trophy carries dust. Memories last forever. Right? So you have trophies that are hanging in the closet. You get medals, they're handed to you. You hang them up. You put them in places you don't see them all the time unless you have them behind your studio wall, like I need to start developing. Memories last forever. So those things that you do and you create, whether you're with your friends, your best friends, your family, all your teammates, your kids, whatever you want to call it, those are memories that you will cherish for a long time. Those trophies, they're great to have. Put them in there. You can show them one day, show them to your kids, show them to your friends, whatever. But the memories you create in sports, and also in life in general are so great. We're going to like this to sports because of the trophy situation. But I want people to understand that the effort that goes into the day-to-day combat, the effort that goes into the day-to-day preparation, the day-to-day work, the mental state that you put in to be successful in life is so important. So when you do win, when you are successful and it works out for you, those memories last forever, right? They last a long time. That trophy might not get seen. That trophy might be in your closet. That trophy might be hidden. But the memory that you carry on and you cherish with you, your friends, your teammates, your kids, whatever, that memory that you build will last a lifetime. And I think that's what we all root for. That's what we all are going to cherish for the long haul. All those pictures, those photo albums, you can pull them out. But the memories that you see in those pictures, remembering those days of the things that you did, all the fun times you had and cherished, whether you were winning or losing, there's a lot of memories in life. I think that's so important for people to understand. And guys, I appreciate you guys watching, but I want you guys to know we do have Howard H.E. Davis that will be coming on the show, a bare knuckle fighter. He's coming on Friday. He was supposed to be scheduled for next Friday. I think we're moving him up to this Friday. We'll be on at 10 o'clock live. We're going to have him talk about the face-off. We're going to show some highlight clips of him, the gloves, everything he's doing. I can't wait to have him come on, explain what it's like to be in the cage, what it's like to get out there and fight like a warrior, like a champion, literally bare knuckle, how he's been winning, what his future looks like, and how much energy and punishment you can take in the ring. We're going to bring him on Friday at 10 a.m. Hope you guys understand that. And as more people and guests are coming on the show, we're going to start expanding our network. But I appreciate all of you. And again, have a wonderful morning to everyone that's in here in the chat this morning. I haven't said your names. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me today, this morning. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until next time.